Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be making little animals. I'm going to make a rhinoceros and another hippopotamus because my little hippopotamus that I made the other day went to a new home, so I'll be needing to make another hippo, so which is a bit exciting. So I am just loading up my camera there so I can see that, and we are going to get out my grey clay that I had from the other day, and I've got to get actually a reference of a rhino. I'll just use any old reference. I'll go, where's a rhino? Just Google a rhino, any old rhino, and I can work from that. Rhino. There we go. So I'll do a rhino first, images, and I'll just work from a general picture like that. Okay, let us start. So I'll make him pretty, he's going to be small, but I'll make him quite solid. So and I keep it all in a little plastic bag like that, so it's nice and dry and clean. And because I'm using a grey clay, I shouldn't actually need to oh, got a dog hair on there because I've got two Jack Russells in the room with me. I've just got to check my chat, hang on. Make sure that I've got multi-stream open. There we go. That's better. So, what's this? Twitch. Yep. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Trying to get that set up. Is that alright? Oh, I think that worked. Whoa, no, maybe it didn't. Oh, hang on. Just bear with me a second. Authorise. Has it gone back? Okay, we're good. So, I've just made his little head, and now, or his shape of his basic little head, and now I'm going to do his body. So I'm just going to rough out the shapes first, and these guys are stocky. They are super stocky. Really heavy set. So I'm just going to get rid of the lines and creases out of there, because that's pretty much his little body shape. They've got, their heads are 2 times his head as his body, so I need to make that a bit smaller. Hello country, how are you, Dale? Are you multi-streaming? I am. I'm on YouTube and Twitch. How are you, Dale? How's your day? Excellent. What time is it here? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here on Monday. So I'm going to make him a little, he's got quite a thick neck. You're good? Excellent. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So, now their heads are more set to the centre of their body. So I'll just start. Just got to turn that music down a fraction in my ears. 9 PM Sunday, nice. So what did you get up to for the weekend? So I do exactly the same as drawing. I measure everything against the head. Usually when I'm drawing I do the same thing. So the head, so it's 2 times the body as the head. The neck is half the head. So I want that to be double. The head's double that. And then the body needs to be a fraction longer. So I'll add a little bit more to the body. Fraction longer. I can actually take the neck off again because I've got to add a bit more now that I've got the head and the neck and everything made up. And then I'll add the little leggies. But yeah, I use exactly the same technique for everything. For drawing, for sculpting. It's how I get proportions in anything I do, which is fun. But it just shows you can, across the board, use the one technique for everything. So I'll just blend that out with my little bally dude. And your work is beautiful, country guy. You do amazing work. I really loved that, like, I just love that, the wood burning. Wow. That was gorgeous detail. You can get so much detail. I was surprised how much detail. So yes, very, very impressed. It's one thing I've always wanted to try. So very impressed. Oh, gorgeous work. So now I can pop his neck back on. So now his head is 1, 2. His neck's half his head. So now I can attach everything. Oh, that's my dog. Pippy, Pippy. Pippy, Whippy. Where are you? Oh, don't sit there and sookie la la at me. Oh, Bibi. She likes all the attention. I'll give you a pat. I've got both my Jack Russells here, and they are the boss. Hippie! Am I going to have to take you down to the lounge room? I'll get you some lunch and let you down the lounge room. I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to take little Pippy Whippy and put her in the lounge. Come on, Bib. Come on, Bibby. Come on, Bib. You come down the lounge room, Bubba. And I'll just give them their little treat and I'll stay down here. Well, Bear will probably come back with me. Oh. So there's a Pippy. Come on, Bear. Come there, Bear. Bear can come back. And Pippy can stay down. Come on, Bear. So I've got Bear with me. And Pippy's going to sit in the lounge. Oh, takes patience to do the small spots and challenges. My ADHD. Oh, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. It's definitely a fine skill. Definitely a fine skill. So there's his little head, or his little neck attached. Now I'm going to attach the head. I need to squish it down. I can change the shape of that a little bit. So I'm just attaching everything at the second, getting the basic body bits. The basic body bits together. So have you tried multi-streaming? It's good. I'll still make a short format video and a time lapse as well. Because I usually just stream to Twitch, but I thought, you know what? I'll multi. So I need my little tool, because then I can hang out with all my buddies on both platforms. Alrighty. And my music is, if anyone's interested, Epidemic Sound. Not sponsored, but you pay a small subscription and you've got all the music you can use and you need and you want. And it's copyright free, or whatever they call it. You don't have copyright on it. Okay. So I've got his little head and neck attached. So that's his basic body shape. I'll add more detail because their backs are quite bumpy lumpy. But I can add that with a bit of clay after. Now get a little bit more clay out for his legs. Oops. Get a little bit more clay out for his leggies. And now their legs are pretty much the same length as the head. So once I've rolled out 4 little legs, I'll make them the same. I'll just break off a few bits. This is the firm clay, so it is quite tough to break off initially, but when you warm it up in your hands, it does soften really well. So you just got to be patient and work it with your fingers until it goes all squishy and soft. And this is a different brand. I've usually used this Dew kit, but I've got some Sculpey. This is Sculpey. So, and it's quite, once it gets softer than the Dew kit when it's, so that's the length of the head. So, and their legs are really stumpy. And I'm working on a glass palette. One, because it's easy to clean and I can see the dust and stuff on it. But yeah, it's very easy to clean this glass palette. You can probably get them, or even a piece of toughened glass from a glazier would do. It just have to be toughened because it's got quite hard on it. rolling clay and stuff. You wouldn't want to have soft like the thin glass. So yeah, I'm just using my old palette that I had. But yes, yeah, so I'm trying the Super Sculpey, and it seems real. I like it once it's malleable. It's really quite soft. And I thought that once I bake it, I wanted to check the consistency before I get any more. But I baked it and it feels nice and hard like the Dew Kit. So yeah, I think I'll be enjoying the Sculpey. And I can get it online easy enough. So I've got to try and get these legs all to roughly the same thickness. I can sort of whip bits off and add bits if I need. Got to break another bit off. Oh, it doesn't want to break off. Yeah. It's quite crumbly when you first separate it. See, that's like really quite crumbly. But once you squish it, it's okay. Okay, give it a roll it into a ball, get a bit of warmth into it. And it's quite a warm day here. So quite a warm day. So that's helping a little bit. Just went out and hung the washing out and it was like, oh my god, I'm hot. So I come back into the cool. Alright. Yeah, break off a bit more. And add that onto this. And roll it out. So I'll get all these little legs made and then I'll attach them. I need to find like probably a better picture than and I want to do, oops, and I'll do because there's a few different species of rhino. Just scrolling through my pictures to find a nice clear sort of side-on-ish view. Oh, they're beautiful animals, they really are. But I've got to do another hippo because my little hippo that I made went off to a new home. So that was exciting. So I need to make another hippo. And then I want to make an elephant. And then I've been requested to make a giraffe. So that'll be fun. So I need to get some, I've got some wire here, but I'm not strong enough to cut it. To make it, I can twist it, but I can't cut it. My pliers aren't strong and my hands aren't real strong. So I've got to get my husband to snip it for me. So I'll have to make this because otherwise he won't be strong enough. Like the clay isn't strong enough to hold that length of clay up straight. It would buckle. Now I am going to get my knifey doodah. Scientific term, of course, a knifey doodah, and I'm going to cut that end because I made that leg a little bit long and probably a little bit thick. So I'll trim that off. Roll it a bit more. Roll it a bit more. Then I can trim a bit more off. They're all about the same width now. Yeah, like that. And then whoopsie daisy, what was that? That was my pen, that's alright. Then get that one, that's way too thick. So I'll keep rolling that one. That's about right, a bit thinner, little bit thinner. Going back to the front of my photos. Okay. They've got little curly tails and cute little ears. I've almost got it right. And I can adjust a little bit. And their feet are quite like elephants, so I'll just make sure the little sort of bottoms of their little feet are squared off at the end. I could just trim that anyway with the knifey thing. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll these a little bit more. Make sure they're nice, and I'll square them off at the bottom because that'll be the little foot. Same as this one. And that's a bit longer. I'm going to take a little bit off this one, about that much off. Get them to make sure they're all the same length, like that. And square off the bottom. I can smooth that little bit. All the little lines I smooth off, And then I'll sit him on his little glass holder. It's a fraction long. Take a little bit off there. Yeah, like that. Check that. Like that. A little bit like that. A little bit like that. Okay, they're all around about the same length. So now I just need to make his body a little bit wider. And I have extra bits of clay here, so I'll just stretch that one out a little bit because I'm going to have to widen his little body because I've made him a bit too skinny. So I'll just add a little bit on either side of him to widen him out, make that a bit thinner, a bit less, I mean, not thinner, just a bit shorter. So I'll add just a bit of width on him because he needs his belly, their bellies go out in the middle. And I narrowed him off a little bit much. So now I'll just smooth that back on. And I haven't used an armature yet, so I'm excited to try and make something with a frame. I've watched a few little videos on it, so it should be fun to try. And I'm very, very much learning how to do this. I've only been doing it a week or two. A couple of weeks, I think, since I started. And I'm absolutely addicted to sculpting. Absolutely addicted. There's no looking back for me. I had one painting this weekend that I had to do, which I did, which was great fun. So it was lovely to do a watercolour. I hadn't done a watercolour in a few weeks. So I did a painting for a friend and their baby. So that was good fun. Back to sculpting though. Alright. So there's his little fat belly. So now I'll make it more even. I can sort of round things off and reshape a little. I really like how to sculpt he feels. Just going to get rid of that crease there. It gets quite soft. I can press the top of the back down. Bring his head down more on a straight level. Their heads do go, they sort of point at the ground. Like that. Then smooth it. Alright, because they're quite long bodied in proportion to their head, or in perspective to their head. Alright, there we go. Now, attach his little legs, and their legs are just behind the chest at the front. I'll just attach them roughly, just get them on, and then I can shape them a bit more. And their front legs are quite straight. Okay. And I can make him walking if I want to, which I might. We'll see how I go. See how the mop flops. And I can add bits and take bits away if I need. Just got to be careful to get all the just saw something running across the paddock then. I'm like, what on earth is that? It was a kangaroo, but it was low to the ground. Okay. So I'll just attach that leg. I'll add a bit more hip structure on the outside in a mini. Oops. There we go. There's the basis of my rhino. The very basic basis of my rhino. He's a funny looking little dude, and he's got a very skinny bot, so we'll fix that up. We'll add bits to thicken that out, so it gives him little hippie bits. He needs his little hippie bits. So we'll give him his little hippie bits. We've got to give him shoulders as well, so I'll add that on there. Actually, I'll get my stand. This is the lid off a coffee jar. So handy because the clay sticks quite well to the coffee jar. You can see I'm going to have to trim off a little bit extra here and there, but at the moment I'm just building up. Today might be just a rhino day. The hippo might not happen today because I'm definitely thinking this is going to take a bit of time. Okay, give him a bit of a shoulder. And we have our Asian hippo as well. They're quite armoured. They're really quite beautiful as well. These guys, I think this is a white rhino. Whoops. These guys are sort of, they've got a thick hide, but they're smooth looking. They don't have the armour that the Asian hippo has, the Asian rhino has. Okay. Whoops. So I'm just building up his little shoulders, and then I can smooth that out a little bit with my middle size spoolie, like that. Smooth that right down onto his leg. And you can see he's sort of gaining shape, little by little by little. Okay, starting to gain shape. Around there, like that. So it's slow and steady, and it's just building up and building up. I could have used foil to fill out his middle, but I just don't. I don't know. I like having a solid little structure, and I will. I mean, I don't need to use this much clay. I could save a lot of clay by using foil to fill out the middle, but I'll get there. I'll get there. I need to smooth out his bottom. Now I've got a lumpy bottom happening. We don't want a lumpy bottom. So I've got to flatten that. I've got his legs all the... Okay. It's got to take the shape of his legs a little bit. I'm going to have to trim a little bit off, I think. So I've got to narrow them off and give him hocks, because they've got a knee at the back. Fill that back in there, attach that bit better, narrow that off, and I'll start to build the shape a bit. Flatten off his bottom, because they've got quite a flat bottom. Not that flat, but they're quite a flat. Wow, this music's tinkly tinkly. I'm just going to change the music, because it's a bit tinkly tinkly for me. So it's going to go down here. Where are we? Go to the next one. That's better. Supposed to be Nordic music, but because I like the Nordic theme, but it's a bit tinkle tinkle. Okay. Okay, it's getting there. Slowly, slowly, catchy monkey, as my dad used to say. Okay, and I'll just smooth him off. Get my big ball, which I use as a smoothing tool. That, and I can use the heat of my hands takes out the little creases and things. I just got to be careful to narrow off his little front legs a bit. Like that. It's looking a bit better. Starting to get a little bit of form about him now. I'm going to make him just standing still. I'm not going to have him moving. And I want to make these an affordable, fun little size that anyone can afford. I don't want to make it all too expensive, and so that's why I like doing the smaller things. It'll be good for Christmas size gifts. Now I'm looking at him from behind. He looks fine from the side. Just got to smooth him out a bit more. Like that. Got to get rid of some of these creases around his feet. The elephant's going to be fun because elephants have quite textured skin, and I can feel that I'm going to want to try and get the texture. So we're not sure how that's going to go. Now, having another look. He's a bit narrow. I've got him a bit narrow through his back. I need to add a bit more in his flank area, but I've got these couple of little bits here that I can add into his flanky area because he needs to be built out this side a bit. I've got him a bit skinny. He's a bit skinny through his flanks, so I need to round him up a little. So we'll do that just by adding a little bit there, a little bit into his loiny bits down there, same on this side, and I can smooth that out. Then I'm going to make his little curly whirly tail. Okay, get my middle size ballie and just attach that on. Like that. Just I need to bring out his flanks a little bit more. Like that. Oh, I'm changing this music. This music's awful. Okay, go back to my music. Just bear with me. I'm going to go to pop, and I'm going to go, I want to go just sound, not voice, acoustic. There we go. Ta-da! That'll do. That's my background music now. Okay, smooth this out. Like that. And I'm going to add a little bit onto, that's brought his flanks out a little. I've got to add a little bit more onto the top of his back because they do have a little hump on their back ish. Just about the middle, or 3/4 of the way along his back, sort of going up to his rump and his haunches. So I'll just knead that up and make it a bit softer. Like that. My little dog's laying on his back on the floor. He's so cute on his little doggy bed. Okay, so I reckon that goes like that, just to lift up the top of his back, and I'll smooth that forward like that. Slowly, and I can take out these lines. This is very much a slow process of building up everything how you want it, and then taking out all the little creases. Alright, but he's getting there. They are quite long in their little bodies. I am going to use now this flat tool, see if I can smooth him out a bit more. I do need to build up this back a bit more. Or do I lift it like that? No, I have to add to him. I have to add a little bit more. A little bit more. My goodness, the clay doesn't want to break. There we go. I can cut it. I just don't have a. You can get like the clay. It's a steel thing. You can run through the clay. You can get it for ceramic clay as well. I need to invest in a clay cutter. But I didn't realise how much I was going to enjoy, so I didn't buy all the things yet. So I can feel that I'm going to have to buy some stuff. Do I need to build that up a bit more? A lot more? A bit more. Alright. Just make this longer. That's a bit better. And then I won't flatten that out too much. I'll just connect it there like that. Actually, I need to bring it forward to there, like that, onto his shoulder, onto his wither. Okay, there we go. Now I'll attach it onto his wither and all the way around, and I can drag it down his body. It's like a saddle at the moment, but we'll get there. Just rolling that out and down, and this sticks really well. Like, you don't have to use any kind of medium to stick her all down. Alright. He's getting a bit stockier looking, which is what we want. Tidy up the legs in a minute. I've just got to get the body right. Got to get his head more down, like that. His head's more down. Shoulders are up a little bit. I might make him look like he's walking. We'll see. Got to smooth all this off. Don't want to flatten him out too much there. I've got to be a bit careful. Try and soften this. He's looking really sausagey, but he is one. So one, two. So he is still the same length. I'm just trying to get him thinner. Like, not thinner. Get his proportions correct. Get his legs thinner, a little bit thinner, and a little bit more shape to them. Get his back. I've got to bring his leg forward. Back leg's going to be squished down a little bit, like that. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, he's looking a bit lumpy bumpy, but we can fix that. So this one's got the flat edge, so that's the flat edge I'm going to use. Try and smooth things a bit more. Try. And then use my fingers to warm up the clay to soften it a bit. So once I've flattened that, it looks a bit more smooth, a bit less lumpy bumpy. Fill out his little thighs there. Alright, that's looking a little bit better. A little bit smoother, a little bit better. We're slowly getting there. We're only 20 minutes in, so it's not bad for 20 minutes work. And his tummy's about right. So you can see the more you do, the more you sort of knead, the softer he gets. The easier it is to smooth. So I'm just going to rub my fingers over that just to smooth that off. Like that. Okay. You can see I've got a bit of a lumpy bit on his head where his head joins his neck. So I've got to get a bit of clay to fill that in. And it's just building. Just adding little bits by little bits. So I'll thicken up that little part of his neck there and then smooth that in. Because he had a bit of a divot that I don't want. Like that. Woo! As he does a backward flip off the coffee the coffee lid. Get on there. Alright. So that's thickened out that little part of his neck. And it's just a process of working it. Smoothing it, checking the shapes. And I've I've got to narrow his head off a bit so it's thinner than his neck. And smooth off the creases around his face. You can see I've added a bit of thickness there, so I've got to make sure there's no seams showing. Little clay seams. Alright, we're getting there. Now I can join under here his front legs, and I need to actually thin that off a little bit like that, give them a bit more shape. Join them in the middle underneath, create a little bit of a chest sort of an area like that. In the middle because I can't get my hand in there. Use a smaller ball just to smooth that. There we go. And then do that. Take his legs back a fraction. Alright. I'm actually going to join. Okay. Lift his little tummy up. Alright. Not too bad. Not too bad. I will narrow off these back legs a little bit, carefully, so they don't look so they're joined. Oops, like that. Tidy up his little bottom. There we go. So he's looking a bit more rhinoceros-y body-wise. So now I'm going to carefully add his little horns and ears. So his horn is the length of his head, pretty much length of his face. So I just make that, roll that. So the front horn, he's got two horns. He's got one here and one just behind it. So I'm just going to roll out a bit of clay. Needs to be a bit thinner than that. Roll that out into a pointy sausage like that. And his horn is pretty much the length of his head, so I can shorten that a fraction. And then just going to double check. Okay, it's not quite. It needs to be the length of his face, not his head. So I'll take a bit more off that. And not his whole head, just his face. That's a bit better. And then that is almost at the tip of his nose. I'll attach that on there. That, get my little ball, just to smooth that on to his face, like that. I've got to be a bit careful because I'm going to knock him, so just patiently just take my time smoothing bits out. And it's amazing how firm, once you fire them in the oven, they only go in the oven 130 degrees Celsius for half an hour and he'll set like stone. And they become quite tough. Like, surprisingly, I'm quite impressed with how strong the clay is once it's stuck in the oven. Just got to tidy up the tip of his little horn there. It's got a bit of a dint on it. There we go. Now I'm going to make his second little horn, which is about almost half the size. So I've almost got that one right immediately. So I'll just take that off there. Whoops, it is. And carefully stick that there, like that, and use the very tip of my blade to sit it in the centre. Like that. And carefully work those edges like that so it sticks on. Just very carefully work to the front. There we go. So that's his little, basically his little shape. I've still got a bit of work to do to tidy up. Like I can probably narrow off, I could take a bit of clay off his legs. But I'm gonna just keep smoothing. Keep smoothing. Where's my smoothing tool? There. Keep smoothing carefully. I've got to add his ears, and I'm going to thin his legs out a little. I want to thin those legs out a fraction. I can trim a little bit off the bottom if they get too long. I've got to make sure that that doesn't come unstuck there. I've added a little bit of clay. You see it's quite soft. When you initially do it, it is quite soft. There we go. Just got to narrow off these front legs a little so they don't look so clunky. Like that. His little head goes down, the little horn comes back up that way. He only just fits on the coffer lid. Alright, I've got to tidy up his little bottom here. There we go. It's a bit better. Make it not look so flat and strange. There we go. Alright. Tidy up any little seams underneath. Get rid of any little creases that I can see. I'm going to pop his little ears on. I'm going to do his ears now. And now the ears are the same length as this little horn. So I'm going to ball up 2 little bits of clay like that. Get them around about the same size like that. There we go. And then I'll turn them, fold them into the middle, get my blade and sort of fold them because rhino ears are sort of curled in like that. So there's my little curled in rhino ear, and I'll do that bear. And the same with this second ear. I think the dogs are just barking at a motorcycle going past. Alright, so that's the second ear. And they curl in at the top. So I'm going to add that ear there. It's probably a bit big. I need to shorten it. They do have quite big ears though. About half the length of their horn. Yeah, that's about right. I measure everything against the head and the horns and all the different body parts. So yeah, that one comes in like that. On the side. There we go. I'll just mould in that bottom bit so it sticks and the ears turn in when they're pointed forward like that. There we go. And his eyes are actually just below this first little horn. So I am going to do tiny little beady eyes. Teeny little beady eyes just below the horn. And then I've got to smooth him off. So he's got his eyes are here. Oops. Just got to try and get them the same size, because you don't want wonky eyes. Yeah, they're about the same. 1, 2. And that one's a fraction bigger. Trim a teeniest bit off. my pointy tool and pop his little eye. Goes there. Just below that horn. Same on the other side. And then I'm going to use my little ball, my teeny little ball, to just put a little dot in his eye. Like that. One in this side. And that'll be enough to make that stick. There we go. And now for his little nose. They've got their little nose. I'm just going to use this on the end, on the side. So that gives me his little nose. Like that. Oh, gosh, he somersaulted, but that's alright. Lucky it didn't squish his horn. I'm just going to hold him. Actually, get on there. Get on there, little rhino. That frightened me, and I've got little bits of clay stuck to me everywhere. Just going to smooth out these little connections around his horn and around his ear. You can see, like, I dropped him and he didn't fall apart. It's amazing how flexible on top, like when you're making it, this clay is actually flexible. It's a strange sort of almost like rubber. It has a rubbery feeling, like where traditional clay doesn't have that. Doesn't have that flexibility. But I like this because it's clean. I can do it in my office. I don't have to worry about cleaning up a mess. So yes, polymer clay is a wonderful thing if you have a limited space, and I'm on a farm and we're dependent on rainwater, so I can't be cleaning up a lot of clay all the time, and so yes, very limited. So it's good to have a product that I can use in sort of drought conditions. It's very clean and indoors, so when it's hot I don't have to be outside. To be honest, if I was using traditional clay I wouldn't be in the house with it. I'd be doing it outside in the shed. Just want it tight to point up the tip. Okay, there we go. He's looking. Just got to check this side. His nostrils, and I've got to do his mouth. Their mouth is underneath. I've just got. Oh, so I'm going to hold him while I mark his little mouth in with my blade here. I'm just going to do a little cut like that to give him his little mouth, like that. It just goes just behind his little nose, and then I'm also going to flatten his nose because this guy's got a flat nose. So I'm going to flatten his little nose with the tip of my smoothing tool, like that. Then I'm going to put his nostril back on this side because I've lost his nostril. Hang on, get my other tool back. I squished his nostril, but that's okay. No, not that one. This one. So I'm just marking in his nostrils again, like that. There we go. Oops, my nail caught in there, so I'll just smooth all that out again. So I'm just going to try and get him smooth now, and then I'll pop his little tail on, and then I'll draw his little claws on, his little toes, with that little elephanty feet. Where's my smoothing tool? I just had it. There it is. I just want to smooth him out. Like that. I've got to tidy this bit up. He's a bit sort of lumpy bumpy in here. I've just got to thicken him out a little bit. Just using my hand. I've got to be careful because when I smooth I can flatten as well, and I don't want to flatten. So I'll just carefully just pat to try and smooth him out. Like that. And I'll do his little face markings, because they do have, I've got to smooth here around his tusk, or his horn. I've got to smooth this. I actually need a bit of light. I'm just going to turn the light on. Oh, roll over on my rolly chair. Rolly chairs are very handy for such things. That's a bit better. Now, it's going to smooth. I'm going to use a bigger ball. Smooth that out. That's better. Just to smooth out those little seams. That's better. Same on this side. Okay, tidy up. Like that. Right. I'm going to tidy up his little ears. Get the little creases in the middle of his ears, like that. Oops, no, hit him with my fingernail. And I'll just put a sealer on this little guy. I'm not going to paint him. I'll just seal him so he has a gloss finish, because I like this grey. Just got to go over and get rid of any of these little lines that I don't want, little seams and creases. Have a look underneath. He's looking quite well attached there. Just got to smooth him out a little bit under there. Where's my flat tool there? Just got to pat that down a fraction. Get that shape under there a little bit. Not that you're ever going to really be looking under there, but now I'll do his little feet. So get his little hocks, his little back legs, like that. And I'm pretty happy. He's like little marks on him, but he's handmade, so he's going to have little marks. So now I'm having a look. They have little creases around their eyes, so I'm going to get a little blade tool, and I'm just going to draw little creases around his eyes, because they do have little lines around their eyes and around their nose, like that. Just a little bit of texture, like that. Whoops. Just give him a little bit of personality around the top of his little eye, because they are creasy, like that. Around here, I've got to pop his little nose in a bit more than that, like that, like that. All right. That's cute. Okay, and then I've got to soften up the tips of his ears. I had tweezers. What did I do? I didn't bring them up to the office, did I? That was smart. I actually got tweezers. Oh, there they are. No, I did. Oh, go me. Okay, I've got my tweezers. Because I want to flatten the top of his ears. Oh, and they're not very good tweezers for that, are they? I'll just have to go like this. Yeah. So I want to flatten the top of his ears. So I try to do it with my fingers, but my fingers are too foofy. There we go. So I just use the middle bit of the tweezers. Like that. Get a more of a point, and then I can smooth that out a bit. Like that. Gently, gently. Don't want to knock them off. No, so I've got to use this tool to flatten. There we go. It's so flexible, it wants to take his little ear off his head. Alright, just smoothing things, smoothing and shaping. a look. Like that. Now they do have, I've got to change the shape a little bit. I've got to get a bit more of a hollow in the front. I think I'm going to have to take these ears off and do them again. I'm not 100% happy with the ears, so I'm going to make them flat again. I'm going to make them flat. I'm not going to have them the way I had them. They're still the same size. Like that. Attach that one. Oop, be a bit careful because he's so thin there now. Attach that on there. He's a little bit. Okay, that's a bit better. And I'll smooth them. Just turn those edges in ever. Where's my tweezers? Turn those edges in ever so slightly. Like that. That's better. A bit better. Almost, maybe. No, don't like it. It's going to take a couple of goes for the ears. It's going to take a couple of goes for the ears. So I might make them a little bit smaller even. They'll be a bit more manageable if I flatten them out. Yeah, like that. And I'm actually going to cut the shape. Where's my knifey thing? Where's my knifey thing? Good question. Where's my knifey thing? Oh well, I'll use that. Okay. So I'm just going to cut triangles. Cut another triangle. Like that. There we go. Try and pick it up. Shape it before I put it on. Like that. Put my blade in the middle. I can shape it around the tip of that blade. Whoops. Like that. Whoops a daisy. That's better actually. And then that one, same. Put the blade in the middle because it's a triangle shape. And stuck to the glass. And shape that around the blade. Like that. It's a bit better, I think. Then stick them on. Get my little bally doodah. This one can go on this side. That's better. That's a better looking ear. That's definitely a better looking ear. And then that one on this side. Right. And I'll just attach those gently like that. And I've got a smooth the slightly larger ball tool. I find these are the best for smoothing. Attaching bits. Like that. Attach at the back. Push them forward a fraction. So they're more pointy to the front. Got a dog hair on the tip of his ear. Because I've got my 2 Jack Russells in my art room most of the time. Just got to squish the top of his head a little bit. There we go. Smooth that off on that side. Like that. Just check his little mouth is okay. His little nose. I've got to draw the little lines on his nose. Because they've got little creases. Like that. On the front of their little nose. This is the fun bit. The detail. Alright. There we go. I've got to do his tail. I've got to do his little toes first. So they've got like toes like elephants. So they've got, I'm just got to see how many toes he's got. 1, 2, because I want to get him anatomically correct. 1, 2, 3. 3 toes. There we go. So we'll do 1, 2, 1, 2 lines. And I can shape the toes from that. That looks quite cute actually. Like that. Whoops. And then on this one, his back foot. Whoops, I just stabbed him. 1, 2, like that. give him little, because he has, like elephants have that little hoofy bit, like the toenail mark. So I'll just mark that on, like that. That one, and that one, like that. That's cute. Okay, and then same on this one. It's got 3, 1, 2, and that creates the 3 toes. So 1 little line on the top, little line on the top, little line at the side. Make that go right across like that. There we go. Now I can get this tool, just soften those a little bit, come around the edge and sort of just make them look a bit more, a little less sharp and hard. Actually, I won't use that tool. What am I going to use? I might use the flat one, like that. That's a bit better, just to make them look a bit more soft, like that. And that one. So I'm just going into the lines that I've just marked and just softening them a little bit, sort of just patting them down and shaping them with the edge of the tool, like that, so they don't look quite so harsh, like that. Alright. Come in and around. Okay. He's a bit cute. Alright. Just going to smooth him off. Make sure I haven't got any creases where I don't want them. And then I've got to do make his little tail. I've got a few little creases on this side I've got to tidy up. What's going on there? I've got to smooth that with the ball. Just there. Like that. There we go. Like that. Right, now I've got to do his little tail. So there we go, there's little rhinos so far. His little horn's cute. I've got to get that one more central. There we go. I've got his head a bit wonky. There we go. Like that. And then his tail. They've got actually they've got a sort of a longish tail, so I'll make that up. I'll just squeeze and squish. His little tail, and they've got a furry bit on the end. So what I'll do is I'll roll it out like that, and I'll put a little line. I'll use my little ball, create a little line around the bottom of the tail. Whoop, not that much. Maybe I'll do that again. Like that. And I can put another little bit on the very end just to create that little fairy bit. Like that. And I'm just going to draw little lines in it. Like that. Roll it over. Draw little lines in it. Like that. And stick that on the end. That doesn't work, does it? It's not going to work. Okay, we won't do that. We'll just draw the little lines on the end of his tail here. Like that. Go around, just roll it around and draw the little lines for his tail fur. Like that. Like that. And then I'll attach that on the top there, like that. Oops, I just bent his horn. And I'll just smooth his little tail on the top. Like that. Just smooth that on. Like that. Actually, I can give him a little curly up tail. That'd be cute. Because they do curl their little tails up sometimes. Like he's waggling it. I'll draw the little lines on this one. Hang on. Oops. Like that, so it looks fairy. And on the other side, so it looks fairy. Oops, Daisy. Like that. And then stick that on there. Whoops, I need my tweezers to help me. There we go. Oh, nope, that didn't work. Alright. Oh, then squish it with my tweezers. There we go. Well, that didn't work. Let's not do that. Very much playing it by ear and fiddling, sort of. I'll just do that. There we go. And then attach that. Like that. I've just got to smooth it off on this side. That's actually not too bad. Whew. So soft though. And this is the firm Sculpey. So it becomes, when it's this thin, oof, it is soft. But it will become hard when I've cooked it in the oven. Alright. Just got to make sure his little tail's fixed on. And mark those little lines. Tidy up this little bit on his bot. There we go. Okay, having a look. I want it to come out from his little bottom a bit, like that. There we go. He's got his little sticky outy tail. I've got to smooth it though. Whoops. Alright, like that. Let's make sure everything's attached. I've got everything where I need it. Does he need any details on his little legs and stuff? They do have rib cages. I've got to draw the line up his hip. So I'll draw the line up his hips, where his legs go onto his hips. Make it the same on both sides. So I start to make just the detail. Oh, just smooth that one off a bit. I've got it a bit too far forward, like that. So that's his hip on the back, hip on that side, and then you can have a little line that comes down there on the back of that front leg, like that. Whoops. Like that. I need to get that one a bit closer. So I'll just disappear that and move it forward. Like that. Like that. There we go. He's got his little elbow joint there. Whoops. And then you can draw his little knees across the front. Like that. Because they've got little creases where their knees are. Like that. And then in the back the same. He's got little creases for his knees. Like that. Alright, they do have a little line across the front of their legs, like that. So I'll just gently mark that in. Mark his little knees around the sides. They have marks on their necks? Yes, they do. They have quite decent creases on their necks. So I'm going to do his creases. So it's just like drawing. When you get to this part, it is basically just drawing with the blade or a tool. Just the little lines and what makes them look like they look. Okay, I'm having a look. He has lines that come up around the back of his ears, following the shape of his neck. There we go. How cute is that? I'm loving it. I might have to keep this one. He's looking a bit cute because I do love rhinos. Hello, Blue. How are you? very well. This is my little rhino mate. Whoops, I've got to get him into the camera a bit for you. But yes, having lots of fun. I'm just popping on his little details now, his little markings. And I love rhinos, so I'm having a lot of fun. Now they do have, even though they're really heavily muscled and really heavily armoured, you can see their little rib cages. So I'm going to just draw on. It's like their bone structure is so strong and defined. So I'll give him his little rib cage. Nice, thank you. This is a fun bit. It's just like drawing, but on clay. I'm really loving it. So how have you been, Blue? What's been happening in Skittleville? That's a new country, Skittleville. Just got to smooth out. There's a couple of bits where I've got a bit of a join there. It's got to be, what is it, early in the morning there? Arting along as well. Oh, as usual, nice. Glad to hear. Oh my gosh, you painting the other day with the little bears? Oh, that was so cute. I love that. I can't remember whether I saw it on YouTube or TikTok or Insta or where I saw it, but the bears, oh my goodness, I loved it. It made me smile because I adore bears. And to see the little mama and bubba bears, I was like, oh my god, that is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. 3 a.m. Wow. You need sleeps. I am so not good at staying up late. I'm just looking to see. I think I need to do little lines on the back of his little hocks. I've got to do his little knees at the back. Give him little creases on his knees. And I'm not going to paint this guy. I'm just going to gloss him. He's just going to have gloss on. There we go. I reckon I'm going to call this. His little horn is a little bit off center. I'm a bit sort of wary to move it, but I'm going to have to move it. It's a little bit off center. No, oh, I'm scared. Maybe I'll just push it a little bit. If I can push it. Don't want to move his eyes, that's all. There we go. I should be heading off to sleep soon for sure. Yes. Get all prepared for another arty day. So what are you working on at the moment? What piece? Anything in particular, or? I just had a panicky moment. This bit flew off and I'm like, but it's a bit of an ear. It's an old ear that I wasn't happy about. Yeah, that's better. I've got his nose a bit more central now. Or not his nose, his tusk. A little bit more central. I've just got to use my little ballie to smooth it. Like that. There we go. With my fingers. Ooh. Working on some thunderstorm cat clouds. Oh, awesome! Awesome, awesome. I shall definitely be checking it out. I've squished his eyes, but their eyes are squishy, so that's good. I've just got to, I'll get the little tiny bally doodah. Scientifically speaking, of course. It's not, hasn't got a bally doodah, but I'll just use that for the eye anyway. That's actually good. That works. To give that little eye doodah bit. And I reckon I am going to call that pretty much done. So I'll fire him and I will then bring him, get him in camera, fire him and go that way. I never know which way to hold it. And then get him glossy and then I can show you guys the finished product. So there you go, my little rhino. So I am going to see who's on and what's going on, and we will find someone to raid, peeps. So who've we got? Let's have a look. So for my YouTube friends, this is what we do on Twitch. We go across to find another person who's streaming, and how do I do that? I go here, back to Twitch, and I find someone who I know and love that's on. Oh, Galacticat. Let's go raid Galacticat. Galacticat does beautiful work. So I would love you all to come across with me. I've got to figure out how to do it. Hang on, I can do it on here. So /. Thank you, Blue. You have a wonderful weekend too. I will definitely be popping in the second I see you live. How do I, Galactic Cat? Thank you for hanging out with me for a little while, doll. It's always appreciated. Galactic Cat, is it 2 C's? Galactic Cat Studios. Let's go and hang out with Galactic Cat. I haven't seen her in forever, and she's an amazing artist. I'm just going to check Studios, because I spelt your name wrong last time, and I don't want to do that twice. Galactic Cat Studios. Okay, let's go. I will see you over there. Have an awesome day, everyone. And we're off.